Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, investors. Hey, whether you're new or old, I'm honored that you're here taking the time to listen to the show. And I'm Scott Carson. I have been an active real estate investor. It's hard to believe for 24 plus years since I bought my first property. And in this episode, I just want to share with you a little about my journey, where I come from, what I've learned, mistakes I've made along the way. And that's the whole goal for this podcast is to help you, whether you're buying your first property or 100th property, whether you're just buying in Austin or Houston or Dallas or wherever you are, and you're looking to invest outside of the state of Texas, or you're outside of the state looking to invest in the state. It's my goal with this podcast is to help you take advantages of the opportunities and avoid as many headaches and potholes as we can. So, like I said, I've been an active real estate investor for 24 years. I graduated from San Marcos there at Southwest Texas State University, the actual last class that walked to Southwest Texas State. I could actually have two diplomas if I wanted to. I grew up down in South Texas, down near Corpus Christi, where we lived for a while, and my parents moved to a little small town called Ingleside. If you're familiar, that is actually where Ingleside is famous for the Mustang grapes, and the founder of the Wishbone offense, Coach Emery, who was a coach at Texas, has helped Darrell K. Royal install that in offense. He also was a head coach at Texas A&M. After a couple years, he retired, but he's in the Texas State Hall of Fame. But anyway, I'm not in the Texas State Hall of Fame. I'm just as I say, an Ingle-dink from Ingleside, Texas, who's been investing for over 24 years, and just absolutely amazed at what the last 24 years has brought to me. Both peaks and valleys, just like anybody else. We've had ups and downs. And my goal is to help you, like I said, to help you have as many peaks as possible, as few values and mistakes as possible. But I got started like many of you guys out there. I, you know, graduate from college. I actually moved to Round Rock, Texas, or here North Austin, actually, and was living there, renting a place. Married out of college, and read the Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and my friend Sharon Lecter, who I had a chance to meet with and know, and knew I wanted to do something different than what I was doing. It was in the sales. I think I was at Enterprise and then at Verizon, where I was for a little bit there when I read the book. But bought our first house in 2001 in Round Rock, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Loved it, excited about it. And of course, our realtor was like, you've got great credit scores, and you should think about buying more real estate. Because at that point in 2001, if you had, if you could breathe a frog a mirror, you could buy a house. Well, we bought 2 more investment properties. Really liked that, right? I thought it'd be the next Tim the Toolman Taylor rentals, and just absolutely fell flat in our face. I got laid off. Our 2 tenants got laid off. And so I was facing foreclosure just like that on 3 properties, on 6 mortgages, 3 first, 3 seconds, because we didn't have to put anything down because they were such good. But fortunately enough, we were able to get rid of the 2 investment properties, work on a forbearance agreement on the primary. And I remember on the phone calls with Wells Fargo Mortgage, then Countrywide, working for them not to foreclose on the primary residence. So if you've ever faced struggles or know or deal with distressed borrowers, I want you to have empathy for them, because it doesn't mean they're a bad person. I definitely was not a bad person when that happened to me. But anyway, got through that, licked my wounds for a couple of years. And then in 2000, and it's hard to believe, 2004, I was in banking, back in financial services, working for Bank One, and then it became JP Morgan Chase. And a buddy of mine, Boyd Pops, that actually taught me the finance side of things back in the day, gave me a phone call, told me he was working with a real estate investment couple, Bob and Jamie, Bob Leonetti and Jamie Kayla. And they were traveling the country speaking at all these Ron LeGrand seminars. If you don't know who Ron LeGrand is, he's been a real estate investor for over 40, 50 years, an old guy. He's kind of famous for saying the smell of shit and piss, the smell of money. You know what I mean? He's an old auto mechanic. Still out there touring, and went and met with Bob and Jamie and Boyd over lunch. And Bob was telling me what they did, and Jamie was discussing about what she did on the financing side and how they were flipping these properties in Austin and other parts of the country and all throughout Texas. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And I remember going home and talking to my wife at the time, now ex-wife. I'm in a much better position now. And we agreed. I put my notice in. I was one of the top bankers at Chase. They were not happy that I was put in, my notice, but they let me stay for 2 weeks to finish it out because they were short-staffed, and I was such a good employee. Um, and I remember jumping on a plane and going out to LA, to the LAX Marriott, and talking about mortgages, doing investor cash out refinances, first liens, pick-up pays, all sorts of residential loans for investors and traditional buyers or refinances. And for a couple of years, that's all we did. Every 2 weeks, we're on a different plane, and we'd be getting 30 to 60 approved mortgage applications and doing well. And at the same time I was doing mortgages, I was very blessed. I would pay attention to what Bob and Jimmy were doing on the real estate investment side. They had a guy, Rod Davis, that was doing owner finance notes, owner financing, and creating notes and selling at the closing table, which I found so amazing. And I started attending their workshops along with all the other workshops out there, people. So I always say that for 4 years, I really had an apprenticeship, not only on the mortgage side of the business, but on the creative side of the business. So that when everything, hit the fan in 2008, I left the mortgage side, the origination side. Boyd and I had split off and done it. We were doing our own thing, but I was still going back to all of Bob's and Jamie's conferences. And I was still, maybe I wasn't traveling out as much to the conferences, but I was starting to go out and coach and work with real estate investors because I was starting to implement the things that I was learning in these conferences. I still remember reading about options and wholesaling from Ron LeGrand, a great book that he gave away. And I remember walking around and driving by ugly properties or properties where the grass was too tall and knocking on my neighbor's door and nobody there and tracking him down and finding out that he no longer lived there. His wife controlled the property, but I could able to take it over subject to, and for $100, he actually paid me $100. I mowed the lawn, but I also got a key to the house and I could flip it. And I was hooked from that point on. And started mailing out postcards and letters to foreclosures. And we'll actually have Boyd on here in an episode talking about what he's doing right now. He's still in the mortgage finance space. He's also become a realtor, and he's going to share with us about the local Austin market and stuff like that. But I really just, when everything hit the fan, I left the origination side and went full heads first into being a real estate investor, flipping properties. I was still traveling the world, the country, teaching investors how to capitalize on short sales and subject to deals and foreclosures and all that stuff, but also how to buy notes, because that's what I really took an interest to. And I can remember things got a little tight there in 2008, 2009 for a lot of folks, got divorced. I had a couple larger flips that were going south because the market was crashing around it. And I remember they're licking my wounds and praying to God, like I'm sure many of us had done during the low point. And can remember sitting there watching a commercial. And I'm a big baseball fan, love baseball, love sports, played college football, but I love baseball. And I remember watching those old Visa commercials, $7 for a beer, $5 for a hot dog, seeing all 30 Major League Baseball parks with your son, priceless. And I thought, that's something I should do. And I had a mentor at a time, and a head coach was telling me, you're going through a rough time, write your goals down. And so I wrote my goals down. I wanted to see all 30 Major League Baseball parks. I told him that. And he goes, well, what would it take for you to do that this year? I'm like, I don't know. Let me write it down. And so I wrote it down and looked at the schedule and planned this trip out. And at the same time, I was marketing my note deals that were coming in for making phone calls and getting listens of apartment deals that are starting to wholesale and flip the notes from those for 35, 50, 100 grand in profit, and realize this is what I love. And this is the opportunity that nobody else does. So sold everything, except my truck and some clothes and my dog. And my dog Princess and I jumped in my truck and we took off what would be this 30-week trip going around the country. And I'd planned a couple speaking spots, but what really drove it home was in the time from that I wrote it down and actually went into my calendar and looked at when all these teams were playing. I'd gotten 4 to 5 real estate investment clubs to reach out to me and say, hey, we'd love for you to come speak at our RIA club. Or can we use your blogs or videos in our blog? I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead. When do you want me to speak? And the dates they gave me lined up perfectly when I'd be up there. Like a RIA club in Philadelphia, I was going to be in the Phillies to see the Phillies play. And they met on a Tuesday night, and I'd planned to be there on a game on Wednesday night, which was kind of karma. And then same thing in Tampa had happened. And the same thing happened out like San Diego and LA. And I'm not stupid. I know when God's trying to tell me something. So I was like, okay, God. That's what led to me, literally, like I said, selling everything, getting on the road. And 30 weeks turned into 3.5, 4 years of buying notes, flipping notes, raising capital, working with investors all across the world, really. Speaking internationally, speaking domestically, and it's so many different real estate clubs. Just and like I said, I don't get me wrong, I love Texas. Texas is my favorite state to buy stuff in, but most of the stuff I buy, especially the non-performing note side, is outside of Texas. But that leads to opportunities in flipping homes and holding homes and other stuff like that. And so, like I said, bought a lot in Austin over the years, bought stuff in San Antonio and Houston and Dallas and um, residential commercial assets and a whole variety of different things. And raise capital for it, use regular money, hard money, for my traditional real estate deals. And I want to share that knowledge and the different ways that you guys can structure things. Raise a lot of private capital with self-directed IRA investors. We'll talk quite a bit about through that. We've got a sponsor coming on for the show as well that will be talking about self-directed IRAs and IRA LLCs that you guys can use to capitalize for investing tactics out there for you as well. But I buy a lot across the country. I don't mind rehabbing properties. If I have to take them back. I prefer cash flowing assets. I don't like dealing with a lot of renters or tenants and toilets and trash outs. I don't like that. Sometimes you'll do trash outs and rehabs and stuff we foreclose and take back. Sometimes you have the opportunity for rentals. And my biggest goal is not only to help leverage my experience so that you guys can learn from, like I said, my strengths, my weaknesses, but also to bring in experts that can help you in areas that I'm not familiar with. Weaknesses I have, I don't want you to learn from me. I want you to learn from my friends. And I've been very blessed, very, very blessed to have some amazing friends, not only just in real estate, the capital raising, the structuring stuff, the asset protection side, counting side and stuff like that, that I really want you guys to tap into my network and leverage my network to help you grow your business, whether it's here locally where you call home, or it's out of state where you're at, or out of your just backyard. I want you to take advantage of my network to help you take it to the next level. So over the next several weeks, you'll see us uploading quite a few episodes. Some of the episodes will be recycling from my major podcast, the Note Closer Show podcast, where it's like Micah Nichols, who's phenomenal in the probate market, probate leads. We'll have him on talking about it. We'll have Zach Lagunas from the Roddy List or foreclosure.info, where we interviewed him about the Texas foreclosure markets and stuff like that. And like I said, there's going to be some great information that you guys can capitalize. Most of the time, there's going to be, if they offer something great, there may be a discount, a code for you guys to use so that you can capitalize. If you decide to use their list service or their services, something that you can use to capitalize, to learn and grow and make more money. Because that's what it all comes down to. We all have whys, whether it's your family, your kids, your parents, or you just a little better life. We have all got a why that we want to do things here in real estate. And my biggest goal, and I promised God this back I remember in 2004 to 2008, asking God, hey man, if you get me through what we're doing and allowed me to learn all this great information, I promise I'm going to try to help as many other people as I can with what I've learned. And that's what I'm here for. You don't have to like me. Hey, great. If I'm not your flavor, that's by all means, I wish you best of luck. If you don't want to listen to me, that's totally fine. Totally fine. But there's others information out there. If you do have a need, please feel free to reach out to me at talkwithscottcarson.com. That's my calendar for you to book a phone call. You'll see that in descriptions as well for you. Or you can always reach out to me directly via email at scott@weclosenotes.com. And my number, we'll put that in the description for you guys to use if you want to shoot me a text message. But I wish you a wonderful and crazy journey that we're on as real estate entrepreneurs, and let's make the best out of it. Like I said, if you're looking to invest in the market, please reach out to me. We've got an amazing group of realtors, mortgage brokers, hard money lenders, and professionals that can help you take your business to the next level. Whether you're brand new and you need the most amount of help, or seasoned, yes, if you're a seasoned real estate investor, we can teach an old dog new trick in a variety of fashions out there. So thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe, share the show. If you love the episode, great. Let me know. Let me know what you'd like to hear, what episodes or what kind of content you want me to cover in the episodes for you, because we do encourage feedback, encourage questions, and we want to know what you need help with so we can help you. All right. And like it sounds like Jerry Maguire, help me help you be a better real estate investor. So go out, take some action, everybody. That's the most important thing. What you learn here, take action. Nobody likes to be an educated idiot, but you learn something, take action, apply it, and you'll be much happier and much more successful along the way. So go out, take some action. and we'll see you at the top. Thanks, everybody.